Hi there, this is Ray Higdon, and today I'm going to be training on how to get more performance out of your team and improve your retention. Now, my wife Jessica and I have been training in the network marketing space for the last 10 years. We actually were the #1 income earners in a network marketing company before we started training, and I'm excited to share with you some strategies that we have used with clients and companies that we have worked with that have really helped them with their retention and their team performance. We are also the authors of Time, Money, Freedom, which is a book recently put out by Hay House, and also the co-founders of Rank Makers. Now, Rank Makers is our private group where I go live every single day and give an action step in a training. In the last 2 years, we've helped network marketers just like you, 300,000 new customers, 71,000 new reps, and achieve almost 14,000 rank advances. And so let's get rocking and rolling. So first, how did I get into network marketing? Well, I'll tell you, I had tried network marketing and I never wanted to do it again. I'd had some bad run-ins with uplines, I'd had some bad experiences, I had been promised things, a lot of the typical things that some people experience when they enter this profession, and I didn't want to do it. But to be honest, I was wiped out when the real estate market crashed. So when the real estate market crashed, I was completely wiped out. So I'm dead broke, I'm in personal foreclosure, I'm being chased by bill collectors, also happened to go through a divorce, and I was very, very depressed. Now, here in the state of Florida, when the real estate market crashed, everyone was hurting. Everyone I knew was either in foreclosure or going into foreclosure. So here I am, broke, my credit is shot, I can't get a loan to save my life. The credit card companies are figuring out that I'm not paying them, and no one's hiring. So it was tough. So I'm very, very grateful for my good friend Chris out of Cape Coral, Florida, that reached out to me and shared with me a network marketing opportunity that I went on to become the #1 income earner of. And so now let's move into the training, because I want to help you crush it in your business and help your teammates feel better about their decision to join network marketing. To increase your retention and increase the performance of your organization, you first need to understand culture. Now, I have been very blessed. I've learned from a lot of different mentors over the years. I've worked with a lot of amazing coaches and been a part of amazing masterminds, and we run our own mastermind. And I learned from a gentleman named Larry Thompson, who's been in network marketing for over 50 years, a concept that we call the Thompson rule, and that is 80, 15, and 5. Now, 80, 15, and 5, you might have guessed, are percentages. And it's so important if you want to increase your retention, if you want to gain more performance, and quite frankly, feel better about being a leader, you need to understand this. Now, we had heard this term culture bandied around in the network marketing space, but no one ever really defined it. What exactly is culture? And so we took the Thompson rule and really created a definition for culture, which we believe culture in the network marketing space is the making of people to feel good regardless of their level of desire or level of result. Now, this is very, very important if you want a large organization. In fact, at this event, which I want to give a shout out to Ted and all the amazing individuals that are a part of this amazing event. Thank you for having us on, and thank you for putting this thing together. It's just amazing. But we have three or four of our clients that are actually speakers here for this event. We've had clients that were generating over $1 million a month in their organization as actual income. I've had one client has over 750,000 distributors in their organization. So we've been able to work with some very powerful people with very large organizations. And so culture is understanding that no matter what you do, you are not going to get every person in your organization frothing at the mouth, ready to rock and roll, ready to crush the goals and reach the top of the comp plan, because people have different levels of desire. And this is true in the corporate world, it's true in sports, it's true in school, it's true in network marketing. However, a lot of leaders think that their job is to run their team like a sales organization and that they need to get people to step it up. And we're telling you that you work with those who want to work, you work with those who have a high level of desire, but you love on anybody in your organization. And so I've found that over the years of us teaching this, analogies typically work best. And so I'm going to give you two really quick analogies. So I go to the gym every day. I go about 5 a.m. Weekends, it opens up really, really late at like 6:30, just like the afternoon almost. And so Monday through Friday, I go to the gym 5 a.m. Now, let's say, this is not the case, but let's say it is. Let's say that I go to that gym and, I got my headband on, I'm ready for action, I got my Beats by Dre on, and I go in there and I do 5 minutes on the treadmill. Okay, I go over to the weights, I take a selfie for Instagram, maybe I do a TikTok little dance, and then I leave, right? Or I go over to the smoothie section and get me a 2,200 calorie peanut butter banana chocolate shake, and I walk out the door. What does the gym owner say to me, or the gym manager say to me? What do they say? Do they say, hey, you only worked out for 5 minutes, bro. Get back in there, do some deadlifts. Or do they say, way to kill it, buddy. Good job. Of course, they say good job. Now, will I ever get diesel or ripped or get in calendar shape by doing 5 minutes on the tread? Of course not. Of course not. But the gym owner is smart. The gym owner knows that different people have different levels of desire. That gym owner's job is not to make me a psychotic workouter, exerciser, ripped or diesel, if that's not my desire. And why? Why do they accept that it's okay for me to go in there and not get results? Shouldn't they care? Shouldn't they care that I get better results and get in better shape? Shouldn't they care? Well, if I said, hey, you know what? I think I'm going to get serious about getting in better shape. What would the gym owner do? They would point, guide, and direct me to different resources. They would say, well, we have a spin class. We have a CrossFit. You get to flip tires and rip phone books. We got racquetball. We got personal trainer if you really want to step it up. They would point, guide, and direct me based on what? My level of desire, not their level of desire. So I've never left the gym and had the manager or gym owner say, hey, get back in there, boy. Lift your shirt. You're not getting any results. Because they like my membership. I get those confused sometimes. So the point of this analogy here is that you have people in your organization that are enjoying being part of your organization. They may not have high levels of desire. They may not want to be $1 million earner. And the only way to chase them out, or one of the main ways to chase them out and have them quit your team and mess up your retention, is to apply intensity and pressure on them and make them feel bad, make them feel like a disappointment, make them feel like they're not doing enough. And the reason I can share this with you is I made all these mistakes. I remember in my early days of building, I remember getting on a conference call and saying, hey, if you're not prospecting 10 people a day, what's wrong with you? And my leaders were like, yeah, man, that was awesome. Woo! My team shrunk. People quit. Why? Because that wasn't their level of desire. And you may say, well, Ray, if they ain't going to do the work, then I don't want them in the team. Not very smart to say. Because, and I'll give you another analogy here, does that gym owner get paid every month for people that come there? Well, most likely you do too. Or at least you have the potential to. Maybe your company doesn't have an auto ship, but the more people in your organization, the more specials they get to see. The more virtual or live events they get to see, which could increase their chances of purchasing or getting motivated. So there's actually an incentive to having a larger organization, even if some of them are not doing the work. Now, you have to manage your time. If you are haphazardly managing your time and I give equal 8 hours with every single rep, regardless of what they want to do, that doesn't make any sense. Right? That doesn't make any sense, which leads me to my next analogy, which I think will really put a bow on this. And so let me tell you a quick story. I was hired by an insurance company years ago, and they wanted me to take their fairly small sales team and help them generate more money. And so they had a pretty small office I don't know exactly, maybe 10 individuals were in this office, right? So they had desks, they had phone lines, they had computers, and so they had, 10 offices. And although I don't know what their expenses were, let's say that it was $5,000. Let's say that for that office, for the errors and omissions, for the cleaning crew, for the electric, for the plumbing with the bathroom, let's say for all of those expenses it was $5,000. Well, okay, 10 people, cost $5,000 a month. What do you need each rep to generate in sales? Right? At least 500, right? We hope more. We hope that we double and they do $1,000 a month in sales, right? Because if they do 500, then we're just covering our costs. That's not very exciting. We want them to, make more. So we make a profit so we can stay in business, so we can donate to charities, so we can feel better about our business, right? And so, but let's run a different scenario. Let's say that you just so luckily happen to be a relative of Jeff Bezos. And you go to Uncle Jeff and you say, Uncle Jeff, man, you know what? I'm wanting to put together this sales team and it's just tough finding commercial space. I really wish I could find an office, with phone lines and stuff and get people in there so that we could, just have a good powwow place, a central headquarters that we could, make some sales. And let's say Uncle Jeff says, crazy you say that. I happen to have a bunch of warehouses that I'm not doing anything with. And to be honest, I could use the tax write-off. You know what? I got 10 warehouses that already have phone lines, that already have desks, that already have chairs. And you know what? I need the tax write-off. You don't even have to pay me anything, right? And so if that was the case, number one, how many people would you attempt to get in each desk? Let's say it's 10 warehouses and you can get 1,000 people in each warehouse, right? And so what is that? 10 times 10,000, right? So you can legitimately have 10,000 people with their own desk, their own phone line, no cost to you. How hard will you write them? How hard will you walk down the aisles and say, hey, Jerry, you're not making sales, step it up? Would you? You might, depending on your personality. You might have that, we got to take it to the top, we got to really make it happen. How much would you have to write them? Not much. You have a better scenario than that. You can have 1 million people in your organization, and them being in your organization has all the potential to make sales, but isn't actually costing you anything. In fact, they're paying to be there. So let's change that situation. Let's say in the 10 warehouses, 1,000 people per warehouse, let's say every person really likes the idea of having a desk and they pay you $20 a month. How hard are you going to beat them up if they don't make sales? How hard are you going to push them and say, hey, I got your $20, but you're not making sales, step it up? Probably not. You see, no matter how you slice it, it's a good idea, not a bad idea, for you to have a larger organization. But the biggest problem with having a larger organization is the intensity level of the leader that makes them feel like disappointments. I assure you, if you walked up and down those aisles and chastised people that weren't that motivated or weren't hitting their call quota, guess what you would lose? That $20 a month. They would say, screw this, I'm out of here. I'm out of here, man. This is no fun. And so it is longevity, not intensity, that you need to possess as a leader. Why longevity? Well, we got to see it this year. So the clients that we've worked with and the companies we've worked with and helped them implement smart culture, guess what happened when the pandemic hit? They had a whole bunch of dormant people that hadn't really been doing a whole lot that all of a sudden realized how financially fragile they were, but they had a home already, so they just stepped it up. They just stepped it up. And so here's the breakdown. 80% of your organization has a desire level, whether you're awesome and walk on water or whether you don't know what you're doing. 80% of your organization has a level of desire to make $0 to $500 a month. Now, why 0? Because they enjoy being part of the mission. They enjoy being in the group. Maybe they enjoy the products. Maybe they enjoy getting on the trainings and getting pumped up, even though they're not doing anything with it. Doesn't matter. And so 80% of your check comes from those types. Now, you may say, well, Ray, that doesn't make sense. I have 6 leaders. Usually a leader has 6 leaders. I have 6 leaders that are amazing, and that's who I attribute all my money to. Well, guess who's in their team? And by the way, look at all your recruits. Why do you have 6? I wonder what percentage of people aren't leaders. Yeah. And so 80% have a level of desire of $0 to $500 a month. 15% want to make $2,000 to $3,000 a month, and only 5% want to make $25,000 or more a month. However, the problem in this space is most people treat all 100% like they want to be the 5%ers. And that's why so many people leave this industry. That's why retention sucks. And I've had leaders tell me, you know what, my culture is awesome, but my retention sucks. That makes no sense. That makes no sense. That's like saying, you know, the relationships I've had in life, I've really treated them well and been really awesome with them, but they always leave after a very short period of time. That's not typically how it works. It's not how it works. So you can tell your culture by your retention. And it's longevity. The longer they stay around the campfire, the more likely they may catch a spark. So let me tell you 4 things that leaders commonly do that will chase people out. Number 1, bashing cold market messaging or anything that the average ordinary person could do. A lot of times an influencer does things a certain way, and so they think that's the only way because they're influencer privileged, right? It's a new term I created, influencer privilege. Most people in your team don't have influence. Most people in your team don't have a following or a brand or a clue, okay? Now they may have a level of desire, but they may not know anything about marketing. Number 2, bashing proven concepts like go for no. You know, they've tested going for no, and that just means collecting no's, right? And yes, we all want more yeses, but bashing going for no, a proven concept. They did studies on this and proved a great increase in sales when people went for no's, collected no's. That's what I did. 20 no's a day. That's how I became the number 1 income earner in that company, okay? Number 3, like I've talked about, pushing reps and being aggressive. This is not the smartest idea. And so if they come to you and raise their hand and say, hey, I want to make it happen, give them homework. Say, go do this, report back in. But don't think that you're there to ride them, because that's just not going to help. It's just not going to help. And lastly, number 4, aggressive culture. If I look in your team group, which so far every group I've ever audited had way too much business in there, it was 99%, if not 100% business. If I look at your team group, is it here are scripts, here's how to follow up, here's the comp plan, here's how to make money, and no family infrastructure, no what are you doing for the holidays, what'd your kids dress up for Halloween? You need to put things in there, which you can get ambassadors to help you with, but you want to have things in there that make people that aren't high levels of desire, that aren't hard go-getters, you want to make them feel welcome. Because the longer they stay around the campfire, the more likely they'll catch a spark. And so with everything that you do, instead of trying to push everyone to be a 5%er, to be a lunatic, to be a psychopath, right? Like you and I are, right? You need to think about, how do I get a lot of people doing a little? And you can do that with contests by helping them to get, go get one person, having smaller metrics, celebrating in between ranks, and doing things that the average ordinary person can believe that they can do. And so I hope this has been helpful. Feel free to look me up on social media, Ray Higdon and my wife, Jessica Higdon. Thank you so much for having me. I hope this was helpful. Know that you can create an amazing business. Just understand, people have different levels of desire. You aren't going to push them and keep them if you're just telling them that they got to step it up all the time, and that's your one message. And so hope it was helpful. I appreciate each and every one of you. Have an amazing day.